Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Yesterday was, well, interesting, a massive flurry of news, and it caught many of us off guard. Now many of us have time to relax and re-watch the trailer and reread the blog, and I've got a few questions which I kind of want to make into a discussion video because it'll be kind of fun to see what you guys think, and hopefully this will be used for the fans and Creative Assembly to possibly add in more blogs to give some answers, as they are kind of important at the moment. Now, before we begin, I just want to be very clear here, as sometimes some people take these videos out of context. I am not trying to be negative in any single way, shape or form. So far from what we've seen of the Siege rework, everything's looking, well, really impressive, and I'm extremely hyped up. I must say that I was losing a little bit of hope with the recent drought, but I am pretty excited for the game once again. I mean, I can't wait to get into some of these sieges. So, without further ado, let's begin. So, as I said, everything so far with the Siege rework is pretty cool. Everything we've seen is just so vastly different to Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2 standards that this should give the player base a lot more to be hyped up about. Clearly, Creative Assembly have put a lot of efforts for this and have brought in a lot of cool stuff from Thrones of Britannia, Troy, and even Three Kingdoms to try and spice things up, and so far so good. But I must admit that I do have a bunch of questions, as yes, the blog itself was rather large, and the video was large too, despite the fact that it was repeating itself a little bit. But I feel like not everything's being covered, and yes, not everything is being covered intentionally, yet questions do arise. One big question I have is how siege battles will work for, say, for example, Khorne, Slaanesh, and even the Vampire Counts. These are factions that we know pretty much have no range. Slaanesh had none on the tabletop, so I'm not expecting anything new when we get the eventual roster reveal. Khorne has one, yes, that's the Skull Cannon itself, and the Vampire Counts have none. Yes, they do have magic, barring Khorne of course, and I'm wondering how this is going to work, as yes, falling back and all that works quite well, but it's usually to get into a defensive position, to then fire back at your enemy and so on, when, well, we have no range. Obviously, it's likely that we'll be able to build defensive towers, which, yeah, makes a lot of sense. Not for the Vampire Counts, but then we'll go for that a little bit later. I'm just a bit confused as to what's going to happen. Will they have some different bonuses? Will they have different mechanics entirely? Something just to give them a bit of extra flavor to the fact that they don't have any archers, handgunners, and all that. It's just something that's been weighing on my mind since I first saw the video, as, well, obviously this is quite important for Khorne, for Slaanesh, which are two main factions for Warhammer 3, and the Vampire Counts, who, well, let's be honest, if they get caught from too far away, they're going to suffer, because artillery bombardment is going to damage them quite heavily. I'm sure they have something planned, and they're probably saving that for a future gameplay reveal or something, but it's a question nonetheless. What exactly are the benefits for the attackers when it comes to attacking a walled settlement? We know that they'll be able to have certain units that will be able to attack walls directly as they could gates, but the question still stands, as obviously we are aware that we're only able to attack the walls after the defenders on the wall have been destroyed, and, well, at that point most of your units will already be inside, won't they? As in most cases, we are normally splitting up our units, so the big monsters go for the front gate, whilst the other stuff goes on the wall. It's usually split. You're not going to keep your monsters in an area that they won't be able to go to until that area has been taken down. It's curious. Obviously, I'm keeping an open mind here, as maybe they're just not being too clear. Maybe the walls will be easier to knock down, which could be a great benefit. The blog itself is mainly focused for the defenders, and I can see why, because the defenders mostly had the bigger issues there, but it would be nice to have some information for the attackers too, as we really didn't get a lot. Another question would be, how big of a scale are we talking about for this siege rework? Are we going to see some unique cities which are only available for certain capitals? I'm not talking about just the Cathay, Khorne, Kislev, and all the other Warhammer 3 factions, but Warhammer 1 and 2 too. Could you imagine a unique city for Altdorf, Middenheim, Couronne, Blackcrag, Karazakarak, Skavenblight? I mean, that stuff would be really cool if they had their own unique maps. Yes, that might be asking for a bit much, considering that they are seemingly working on a lot of different types of maps and loads of different things, But unique cities would be cool, especially for just big lore places. We haven't seen the minor settlements just yet, they've only briefly touched upon it, so my question is, how will minor settlements change when eventually upgraded to walls? Will we still have that function, or is it just going to be the generic small settlement for tiers 1 and 2, and then eventually when you build up walls, then it goes into a major settlement look? That's not a bad way of going, but it would be nice if it could just be a minor settlement which gets bigger and bigger, keeping the same format more or less, but with walls, which just leads me to ask why we haven't seen anything for minor settlement battles yet. It would be nice, as technically it does fall on the Siege rework. I mean, they'll probably push it to another blog, which kind of makes sense, as long as another video comes out that shows us a lot of visual stuff. And lastly, what about the ogres? How is it going to work for them? They're all pretty much monstrous units if we look towards the army book, unless you want walls manned by noblars, which I really don't think is going to work out too well for defenders. So how will sieges work for ogres? How will they be able to attack? Keep in mind, again, monstrous units can't climb up walls unless they're now able to, and Creative Assembly just haven't told us. It's just a bit of a concern for both defending and attacking as ogres eventually, because we know they're coming, right? Like, they haven't even stated it's going to be the pre-order, but given the fact that we had the ogre mercenaries, yeah, we pretty much know it's them. And yes, it makes sense not to speak about the ogres just yet because, well, yeah, but it's still a concern, and it's something that I hope gets highlighted in a future reveal for them, because, yeah, sieges. And finally, yes, one complaint, which I think everyone's pretty much on the same page as me. Ladders. It's weird. Can we just stop having them pulling them out of their butts? It makes no sense. It would be nice if we could just make them from, you know, the whole siege thing when you're building up a battering ram and building up siege towers. Just give the option to build up ladders too, because random ladders appearing it just makes no sense. And with that being said, could we also have Skaven climbing up the walls, because they could literally do that in other Warhammer games, like say for example Mark of Chaos, and they do that in lore. It would just be kind of nice. Though that would be asking for a lot, and if we were given the option of Skaven climbing up walls or the ladders issue, I'd say the ladders. Now these are just a few questions I have regarding this. Hopefully Creative Assembly will be able to answer it. The idea of this is to see what you guys think about these questions. If you guys have any more regarding the Siege rework, as obviously this is a hot topic right now, and maybe I can put them forward to CA, let them know that yes, the community still has questions. They're hyped though, because it looks like you guys are really hyped up for it. I am too, like I said. So let's hope, and maybe we can see something in the future, or maybe another gameplay reveal, a proper one, a full battle. That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm sorry for the small video today, and if I sound a bit weird, like yesterday was hectic. Recording all that stuff in short notice was not fun. Let's just be honest about that. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games, where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.